Hello, my name's Vera and this is the Psychic Craftswoman's podcast or vlog. I don't know what to call it really. Anyway, hello to you. I'm a bit out of puff because we've just gone and had to get the two cows, our two milk cows, off the field with their two calves. Cows came in all right to their overnight barn stable, but the two calves are only about 4 days old and they're nightmares already. They just run off in the other direction. It's pouring out of rain, it's cold. I'm not moaning because this was our I'm not my toes are wet and cold and my hands are cold and my hair's all wet from getting wind blown, and I'm having a moan, and I'm not having a moan. I'm just saying. Right, deep breath. Okay, now this is my first crafting update, and it is just purely crafting and nothing else. So I've got a finished object, and that is my Sandra Paul's Victoria shawl. Just a minute. Sorry. I'm in my workroom at the minute, or our workroom, and so it's all a bit of a scruff. Not to worry, it's as it is. And this is the shawl. Turned out really nice. I'm very pleased with it. My first crocheted shawl, my first cotton crochet. This off for the moment, and I do like it. I actually find, just by putting it on for a couple of seconds, that I think I'll make more of this type of neck warmer rather than the scarves, because the scarves tend to get in the way of things. They tend to drip into food and washing up and things. Just noticed that this one's getting a bit, gonna have to repair that. I don't know what's happened there. Oh well. Yeah, it's a good pattern to do. No props with it, easy to do for beginners to crochet, and I'm an experienced crocheter, but not with difficult patterns, and not with it's a 4-ply cotton lace fabric, lace yarn I used, and I've not worked with that before, so yeah, it's pretty good. Needs washing, this shawl, because it's getting very grubby, because it's been dragged around with me wherever I've been. I do a bit here and a bit there, around the farm, around the house, and so it's desperate in need of a wash. So I shan't block it, I should just put it in the washing machine on a wool wash and see how it goes. But yeah, that's very good. 4-row pattern, 2 rows of plain treble stitch or double crochet, is it, American, and then 2 rows of a very simple pattern. Very, very good. As I was finishing it and I was going around the edge, it seemed to take forever, but I thought, oh, I don't want to make this again, but I will. In fact, I shall make it quite quickly because I like the shape. It's possible that I just might make it plain without putting the pattern in it, so it just gives me a plain crochet. which is more relaxing than when I have 2 row counts. I've said before that to relax my mind, I need plain work, like plain knitting or plain crochet, and to have a pattern in there means I have to count, which tends to start activating my mind into thinking about all sorts of nonsense. So it's not as calming, in a way, it's not as calming as plain crochet or plain knitting, but it does keep my mind occupied when I have counted work to do, either a pattern or a shaping or anything to get. I finished something, that was good. Everything else is repairs or catching up with things. I'll put this on again because we haven't got any heating on. We won't put any heating on because the house actually feels quite warm after being out there in that cold wind and rain. And oh, don't start me off again. Lester's out milking at the minute, so that's why I'm doing an evening update. Right, that's crochet. I've got no other crochet on at the minute, but I've ordered some, I'm ordering some wool, and I'm thinking about crocheting my first crochet top, but I haven't got, I haven't put the order in yet, so but I'm going to be doing more crochet because I'll be crochet starved. If I don't have any crochet, I shall feel starved of doing crochet. So sewing really is the biggest thing really, to get caught up with all my fabric. And just lean across. I've got this old shirt of Lester's, which he thought I'd repair, but I'm not repairing it because there's too many things. Once the collar goes, I mean, in olden days they used to turn the collar, take the old collar off, turn it over and put a new collar on. I'm not going to do that. It'll take me forever. Anyway, unbeknownst to him, he hasn't, this has been in my, I was going to say rag bag, but in my mending pile for at least a year, so he won't remember this. Oh, he would if he saw it, but I'm going to cut it up because I need some ties for our gates. Angie of Yarn and Yarns, thank you for suggesting I make gate ties. Only I can't crochet them out of wool, I have to make them out of fabric. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So that's recycling, means I can rest easy. Another bit of recycling is the fleece pieces from the fleece jacket I made for my partner, which I finished a week or so ago. And I've already started, so this is work in progress, or rather than work to do, but I'm making what do you call it, patchwork, random patchwork. I'm making a mat, a drip mat for our feet for the shower. It's not hugely big, but it's big enough for our feet. It's not the colour of our bathroom, only I was starting to make a kind of pretty girly bathroom, but obviously this isn't pretty girly. I've got also some tartan fleece as well, which I've put on it, just scrap patchwork, and you just put it on at random. It's coming out better than what I thought. It was only a trial. I cut an old sheet up doubled it over just to make the, that's the back, but I needed something to put the patchwork on as I did it. So I've got a video of me doing that, just in case you're interested. It does use bits up nicely. It makes you feel, made use of what would have been nothing I could have done with the fleece. I've got some fleece yardage left over, so I've saved that. I'll do something with that eventually. But really, fleece is not the easiest of fabrics to work with in this type of patchwork effect, but it'll do just for me and Lester, and it's not water absorbent, so the drips will go straight through to the underpiece. That doesn't matter, it'll catch the drips off our feet immediately after coming out of the shower. So I'm quite pleased with it actually. It's coming on. I've enjoyed doing it, and I mean, normally you would work with fabrics like patchwork cottony fabrics, then you'd put bits of lace on it and maybe do some creative stitch work from the sewing machine or even by hand, but this isn't for that. The fleece it's too hard work. My machine is struggling with it as it is. So yeah, I mean, the bathroom will have its own mat eventually. I've got an idea for using some toweling fabric, but that's new, the toweling fabric. This is scraps. The toweling fabric is in a nice folded up piece of yardage and in my cupboard, so it's out of the way and out of sight for the moment. This was just sat on my table and needed sorting out, and I'm using a surprising amount of scraps up, which makes me feel quite virtuous, and I have a nice bright crafting halo above my head. I've used something that would have gone in the dustbin. I've also got, just a minute, I urgently need a gardening pinafore, so I bought I could have used my own pattern. I mean, it doesn't take a very much intelligence to make a blimmin' pinafore pattern, but if I have the pattern to start off with, I'll still alter it, but at least it gives me a base. It's this one I'm going to make. I think the double, this is front and back, which is quite useful I think, but I think I'd look a bit, I feel a bit like a nana working out. Don't think so. Sorry, it's all damp in my head. Anyway, I've got the pattern. I've got it out on the table in a heap, and I've got some denim which I'm going to use up. I don't wear denim. I bought this for to cover our equipment. We have some band equipment. We're not in a band now, but we did have a band. We did have a band, and we bought some speakers and that. And I bought this denim to make covers for the speakers for when they went out and about and for storage. But I don't have those speakers, and they're in my front room at the moment, in the music room. So if they were going to have speaker covers, then I'll probably make patchwork, pretty ones, rather than this denim. So it's been sat in my cupboard, so I thought I could do with a couple of gardening pinafores. Big pockets, and these should give me a nice, robust protection from when I'm having to cut those wicked brambles down. And then following on the last little bit of, this is just catching up with things, this is a heap of pinafores, indoor pinafores, that I got halfway through. And in my days of when I had my dressmaking shop, well, it wasn't a dressmaking shop as such, it was, I had people to sew for me. I'm not going to go into it now because I'll need to go and help Lester in a minute with the milk. But yeah, these are big indoor pinafores which I'm in urgent need of. And I don't make one, I made 4. I do that because in my shop I used to make quantities of something, so I wouldn't make just one thing. I'd make several, you know. So anyway, I've got a pile of pennies there to sort out, and that is my sewing efforts for the time being. Then knitting. Again, this is another, oh dear, don't want that in it. Excuse me. This is a heap of socks in in need of being finished. Just a minute. Yeah, I always used to knit my socks in the flat, which means you knit them with 2 needles and just go up and down, do the shapings like this, and then sew them up at the end. The problem is that I'd get to the end of them and then they would get left. Oh, I'll sew them up in a minute, I think. And they just got left. So this went on for, oh, I've got 1 pair there to sew up. I sewed up a pair this morning, and I think I've got another one to finish off, and there's probably others sitting around. But what I did, I made this pair. I used up some stash wool, which I don't like knitting in dark brown because I can't see it at night. I have to sit by the window, and I like lighter coloured wool really to work in. But it's got a seam down the back of the leg. You can't see it when it's on. And then it has a seam either side of the foot because this was knitted in the flat. And then I thought, well, Vera, this is no good. You've got to keep up with your work, because if you start it, you need to finish it. And I decided to have a go at magic loop knitting, which I did. I had a couple of goes, and this is one of them. I shan't speak about that because it's a mess. But this is my first magic loop sock, which is quite frankly a mess, and that's not what, it's only for my feet, so it doesn't matter, but it's come out bigger than the other one. So when they're on, one is going to be falling down and the other one is going to be staying up my leg. But at least my feet are warm. So 2 things I could do. I could either do magic loop and take stitches off this pattern, reduce it from 68 stitches on a 2.75 to maybe 64 stitches, or I could go down to a 2.25 circular needle, and maybe won't reduce the stitches quite yet, but see how it goes. I'll know by the time I've got halfway down the leg whether it's going to be needing to have some stitches reduced from the pattern. The thing is, with magic loop you do get marks down the side of the sock where you turn the magic loop around on itself, but I would think that with practice I should get better with the tension when I change the sock round, and when it's been in the wash a few times I'm sure it'll knit in, kind of all tension all across the stitches will sort themselves out. In comparison, the flat knitted sock on 2 needles has turned out a lot neater, and the circular magic loop sock is a lot more, well, it's very beginnery looking, and I've been knitting socks for a while, but it'll do. I'll try the 2.2. I've ordered 2.2 higher sharps 2.25 needles from Amazon today, so we'll give them a go. Higher are a bit sharp on the point, and you can dig yourself, make a hole in your finger if you're not careful. They are sharp, but my goodness me, they go through the stitches. They just, it's 4-ply and it's very fine, and you need a sharp needle to be able to get through the stitches, otherwise you keep dropping them. And I do have a jumper which is in the other room at the moment, so I'm not going to go and get it. It's screwed. I can show you the wool. It's Stylecraft. I do like this Stylecraft. I've made one jumper already, and Stylecraft. It's Stylecraft Life double knitting, and I've made a jumper already, and I quite like the way it's behaving, and I've hammered it. I've not hammered it. I've got a hammer and struck it to death. I've just worn it a lot because I'm short of jumpers. Anyway, I'm up to the armhole, and it's a raglan armhole, so the body's only about that deep, because raglan jumpers do have deep armholes, so they come out longer, and my other one's turned into a tunic rather than a jumper. But it's still warm, I'm not worried. It's does the job, keeps me warm. So anyway, I've got up to the armhole on the back of the jumper, and I'm just sorting out what to do across the top of the jumper. I've got to sort out something. I've got to do something. Really, I should just let it go all plain and then put a little bit of crocheted flowers or something on it. But I need to have some change in style. Like, I need to knit something on that pattern to make it go faster up the top here. So at the moment I'm thinking either a moss stitch or a little dotted about pattern, but not a lacy one, because that'll stretch and get more lacy over time than what I want it to be. What I mean is, it'll get, the holes in the lace work will get bigger, and these are my farm jumpers, so they need to be warm. So as I said, that's about it for the moment. I've dried out a little bit. Sorry, it's all been a bit of a rush. I just wanted to be able to speak to you quickly before another day passed. So I've got some, I haven't ordered the wool yet, so I shall tomorrow. I spent all afternoon sorting out the order. It takes me ages. I love the internet for buying things because you can take your time in selecting something like wool. I go up and down through the various categories of yarn and I make a note of what I would like, and then I leave it for a day or two and then I go back to it and have another look, and often I think, oh no, I don't like that now, and others will stick. It's a curious thing though with fabrics and wool, buying them online, because I can look at loads of fabrics and patterns and yarn, and then one will jump out at me, and then today Lester was working, he was busy, he was sitting beside me on his computer and I was on my computer, and I was going through the yarns and I thought, oh, I like that, and then a voice in my ear was saying, no, I don't like that, no, you won't like that, that's not bad. Oh, it's like my yarns were being chosen for me. I suppose it's my intuition and my higher self sort of saying which was best. I remember last year I ordered, it was my start of ordering wool online, and jumping literally off the screen came this colour and a melon colour, like an orangey pinky colour, and that jumper I've worn a lot in my previous videos, so it would be familiar with you. And they're colours I wouldn't have worn normally, especially the melon. It was quite bright. I thought, oh, I can't wear that. It's not me, because I always tended to choose smudgy colours, earth colours. But I did make the jumper because I wasn't going to waste the money. And you know, as soon as I put it on, I feel so cheerful when it's on. And I thought, whatever bit of my intuition decided that it liked that colour, it was the right colour to have, because I always feel cheerful when I wear it. So I was starting to think that bright colours are probably more uplifting, especially during the winter and colder months, more than the sort of sludgy colours, which I think are more well, just nicer in some ways, but I've gone off them now. I'm thinking that bright colours are probably better because they cheer you up. And this colour, I'd never have chosen this colour either. This has been a problem to make. But it's growing on me. Well, I'm going to sign off now because I've got to go and see what Esther's doing, or how far he's got. He's got 2 cows to milk, but they won't have much milk because the calves have been on their mums all day, so they would have been drinking most of it. But I've got to get the cream off the milk that he took yesterday to leave it overnight so I can make butter in the morning. So I need to go and do that because I've been doing crafts all day because the weather's not been very nice and I haven't been able to get outside. So I've had a bit of a crafting day. So bye for now. I think I mentioned that this is crafting vlog number 1. 2 will be up shortly. I shan't keep it too much of a distance between the vlogs because I do enjoy making them. Yeah, when I don't make them for a few days, I have a feeling of feeling lost. I don't know why that is, but anyway. We were supposed to have storms today, but fortunately we didn't. But we've had a good drop of rain, which the ground very much needed. But we also had a lot of sunshine in between the rain, so the sun tends to dry the ground up very quick. So I think the ground's suitable enough to go and try and get some weeds up. Anyway, bye for now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for visiting, and I hope to see you soon, or else I can't see you, but you know what I mean. Bye for now. Happy crafting.